There you go again. Accusing.
Welcome back to Amberjack. Thanks for joining us for episode 9. Amberjack, the town idiot, is slowly discovering that everything is not as it appears. Not when the dozen-odd swine he was hired to eradicate turned out to be just 3 brohams looking to goof off.
We are not the type to go abusing our neighbors. We are reformed. We are reformed swine.
Smiled Comer with a mouthful of leaves.
Maybe you should go looking for that wolf pack. What is running around here? There are your murderers for you. No one is safe around a single wolf, let alone a whole nasty pack.
And I hear men are the worst of the lot.
Threw in Terentium. Unfortunately, he was right, thought Jack.
Could very well have been one of your kind, Amberjack. You yourself are getting out to do murder, eh?
That's different,
said Amberjack, though that didn't mean Terentium was wrong. Amberjack did come to do murder.
Those creatures were innocent.
Oh, innocent and cute and fluffy. While the 3 of us are disheveled murderers.
Snarled Terentium.
And squalid,
Snapped Comer.
You are
and evil.
Tarbox nodded off Comer and Terentium with a quick shake of his massive head. The 2 toughs had begun to move threateningly towards the man.
Amberjack. Amberjack. Jack. May I call you Jack? It's true none of us are angels, Amberjack. But I believe we can all rise above our unfortunate circumstances, whatever they may be, and better ourselves,
Tarbox said in a reasonable tone.
In your case, at the expense of the creatures of this wood and its surrounds,
snapped the town idiot. He didn't know why he was getting so heated speaking with Tarbox. After all, animals died every day, and many died in order to feed men like himself. Maybe his fear had removed any sense left in him. You really shouldn't be so adversarial to a trio of killers when you were outnumbered, outmuscled, and very likely outsmarted.
Can't make an omelet without cracking a few heads, Jack,
smiled Tarbox. Comer and Terentium snickered evilly behind the man.
Figuratively speaking, of course, seeing as the 3 of us had no hand in those killings. Look here, my pale 2-legged detective, said Tarbox. Let's talk this thing over and see if we can resolve your beef without resorting to violence.
If he had arms, Amberjack was sure the boar would have one draped over his shoulder. If Tarbox had a hand at the end of that arm, there would have been a mug of beer in it getting passed over to the old man.
Whatever possessed you to attempt to murder us 3 innocent boars?
Yeah,
chimed in Terentium.
What did we ever do to you?
Oh, did we uproot y'all's prized rutabagas or something?
Asked Comer.
Oh, you boys are hardly innocent,
scoffed Amberjack. Frightened as he was, he did not want to let Tarbox and his cronies see him shake or shiver. Instead, he snorted.
Innocent, my fat Aunt Fanny's fat fatty.
Say that fast 5 times. I can't do it.
Quipped Terentium.
I just did.
Comer glowered at Jack.
Well, you have me there, Amberjack. But you haven't answered my question.
Hey, what's wrong with having a fat fanny?
Groused Comer, who had the fattest fanny of the group by far.
You know, some of us are born this way, y'all. Come on.
Tarbox hushed the feral hog with a deep oink. Then he turned a piercing eye to Jack and waited for a reply to his question, which he'd asked twice already. He was damned if he was going to ask a third time, the outlaw chief thought.
Worm, nothing.
Amberjack cut himself off, not wanting to give away anything to Tarbox. But the boar wasn't stupid. By the way, swine have poor eyesight, but excellent hearing, as well as a sharp sense of smell. Tarbox caught the choked-off reply and pounced.
King Wormelade.
He asked incredulously.
There's that monkey again. Everywhere we turn, hiding under every rock and up every tree, that little man thing turns up. Well, how many Wormelades do you think there are around here?
Jack asked sarcastically.
You would be surprised.
Grunted Comer.
Hey, I heard tell of a barrel full of them in town. Get it?
Joked Terentium. Comer nodded his big head in laughter, and even Amberjack had to smile. Tarbox said nothing, just tilted his head and raised an eyebrow.
Fine,
gave in Amberjack. He really didn't have a good excuse to stonewall the swine.
I, Wormelade from the barn, King Wormelade to you. He hired me. Said you and your boys were terrorizing his subjects and wanted an end to it. And you... Terrorizing?
He said terrorizing, boss.
Confirmed Comer.
I heard it too. Oh, and I think he also called you a violent, unwashed, inbred heathen with bad breath and piles.
Threw in Terentium.
I'll swear to it on a stack of squirrels in open court.
Tarbox ignored them both.
Look, we may be a bit rough about the edges.
Tarbox began.
And tough around the hedges.
Interrupted Comer.
And up to snuff on the ledges.
Threw in Terentium, to which Tarbox growled that he was reaching with that line, and by the way...
Shut up, the two of you. As I was saying, we're rough and tough, and up to snuff, apparently. But what do you expect? We're swine.
He said that last with a wink and smirked around his deadly tusks as if to say, duh. Amberjack couldn't help but grin. Terentium and Comer both shook their massive heads and stared mutely at the old man, repeating Tarbox's silent duh. Matter of fact, he thought, I can't help but like these three little pigs, despite their fearsome reputations.
Look, no swine was ever accepted into any charm schools, and if one did, he flunked out by the next day. Point is, you may say we're heathens, to which I'd have to agree, but we're nothing more than that, and we certainly don't eat anyone. I've embraced my vegan truth for going on 3 years now.
Somebody's been lying, boss,
said Terentium.
And it ain't the guy standing on all fours telling tales.
Well, hang on a dang-dong minute, you all. Our reputation has been besmirched.
Cried Comer dramatically.
Worse, my reputation has been besmirched, and I stand for no one smirching anything of mine. To arms!
4 legs,
joined in Terentium.
And a tail!
Shouted Amberjack gleefully before he realized he was joking with the enemy and clamped his jowly mouth shut. His lush mustaches betrayed his amusement by quivering, though.
See there? That's what we swine are about. Having a laugh and a roll in the mud, and nothing more terrible than that.
Yeah, I chase butterflies for no reason,
admitted the fierce Terentium.
I try to hook them with my tusks. I mostly fail.
It is infectious. Our lust for life is,
agreed Comer.
And you are laughing right along with us. You have caught our disease, sure enough.
Yeah, you've got swine flu.
Tarbox winked. At that, all 4 of them, man and beast, laughed uproariously. They were right, Amberjack thought. Their joy of simply being alive was infectious. What a difference these few minutes laughing with Tarbox and his crew were to the tense few minutes he had experienced in Wormelade's barn. And, he thought darkly, they were right as well to say that he had been lied to, and it wasn't the guy standing on all fours who had been doing the lying.
Seems like I got skunked for nothing.
Jack griped.
Found yourself on the south end of a northbound polecat? We figured that. By the smell. Yeah.
Jack said evasively.
Something like that. Look,
Tarbox said.
You seem like a decent fellow. I wouldn't want you to go gallivanting around the wood on that monkey say-so and get hurt, not without a few facts from the other side's point of view. Let me ask you something. Ever wonder why the townsmen haven't formed a big hunting party to put pay to the three of us troublemakers?
3?
Jack squinted an eye and stuck out his mustaches in disbelief.
I was told there were up to a dozen of you out here running loose.
There, see?
Tarbox said, as if proving a point.
That little scat in his ramshackle barn is proving my point without me even having to try very hard.
He's a liar.
There's just Terentium, Calmer, and yours truly in our merry band of misbegotten miscreants, Jack.
That's 3, wow.
If there were a dozen of us, I dare say you'd have a lot more company out here. The men of Earwicker Town would be all over this wood, but they're not. And do you know why?
Well, because most of them are off somewhere far away, fighting a war.
Replied Amberjack, doubt now pasted clearly on his face.
Partly so. But it's also because they could care less about a trio of vagabond swine such as ourselves if, truth be told,
That's right.
they even know about us. That's because our reputation for hell-raising and debauchery is unbelievably overblown, as are our numbers. 3 can be invisible to men's eyes, the way a dozen can't, especially if we're taking cares to lay low.
Explained Tarbox.
Without smoke.
Hey, mine isn't.
Protested Terentium.
My reputation, I mean. It's bad. It's really bad.
Oh, come on now.
It's so bad.
Oh, come on.
Just so we're clear.
Well, what the blazes is the point to all that monkey's lagging?
Amberjack snapped irritably. He hated being lied to, and considering the garbage he'd willingly put up with as town idiot, that was saying something.
Your boy Wormelade is after our dirty gold, and then rubbing out the competition,
Said Tarbox.
Or maybe he's after raising a ruckus that serves to up the prices of our dirty gold, but not enough to draw more lethal men than you to the wood. No offense.
Dirty gold. Do I want to know what that is? Yeah, what competition?
Asked Jack, his confusion plain on his sagging face.
A competition for what exactly?
Truffles! Dirty gold! Truffles, my friend. The fungus that makes the world go round, and a swine's taste buds sing. The wood around here is a gold mine of truffles, and Wormelade wants to get all 4 of his grubby hands and that squirmy tail of his on every dirty nugget.
His tail. Oh, his tail creeps me out.
Confessed Calmer.
Leaves me clammy. Do not tell no one. What's that got to do with you and your boyos?
Why, swine and pigs are the best at snuffling truffles out.
We're no trifling trufflers.
Boasted Terentium.
Better than the bloodiest of bloodhounds.
Said Calmer with a bouncy nod.
Wormelade knows we won't work for him, not for the lies and promises he pays in. So he hires your fool self to get rid of the lot of us.
Hey, I'm an idiot, not a fool. Different union.
Point taken. What's bothering me is why hire someone like you to do the job. No disrespect, but one of Comer's night winds